Hey, yeah, good morning. And what day are we today? It's Thursday. So I'm doing an early video this week. I'm back working nights. Well, not nights, but I'm doing a late shift today. So I've got a bit of time this morning to do one. I haven't been doing them for a while. So yeah, I've got to get my body back into that. Uh, I've actually got my eye specialist appointment tomorrow. And they're going to well, I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to do some tests to work out what they're going to do about the high ocular pressure and the narrow angles for glaucoma. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not au fait with this type of thing. I have no idea what to expect. I was told that it will be quite a long exam, and they will, come to whatever conclusions they come to. I guess it's gosh. I mean, look, it's quite disconcerting in a way because I think for me it's the not knowing, and I know very little about glaucoma. I mean, I'm a member of various sites. I've had phone calls from the Glaucoma Society here in Australia, who have sort of given me some background knowledge, I guess, and but mine's a difficult one because I've got high ocular pressure, which is like the precursor to glaucoma. But I've got narrow angles as well, which can be a precursor to acute narrow angle closure glaucoma, which is a really really bad one. That's where you can sort of go blind quickly if you don't get to A&E in time. So it's 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 kind of a lose situation, really. Look, I'm what 55 years old now, and I mean, you expect things to go wrong with your eyes. I mean, I know when I was talking to my my optometrist, gosh, when they first mentioned about glaucoma, and this was probably a year and a half ago, and she said, uh, hopefully, as time moves on, more and more will be found out about glaucoma. They will have different treatments will become available, and the likelihood is you will keep your sight, um, mostly intact until the day you die. And so I mean, that's reassuring in a way, but you have to be very, very mindful of it. I mean, I'm always mindful of it. I mean, with the health anxiety, I'm going to be, and it's always in the back of my head, literally, and so I'm always thinking about it. And I have to. My whole lifestyle has had to change in effect. So I've had to. I rarely, rarely drink alcohol now because that does. Initially, apparently, it does lower the glaucoma, but if you drink on a regular basis, then it will high. It will higher your eye high. Excuse me. It will higher your your interocular pressure or intraocular pressure, and you don't want that. I mean, look, mine's what I think one eye was 21 and the other was 24, and the maximum it should be is 20. But I've got narrow angles as well, so that's even more crucial that I see a specialist, and they will determine what they can do. I don't look. There are operations they can do. There are eye drop treatments. One thing I was told, they do not want to start any treatments too early, because once you start them, this is a lifetime thing. You'll be on it forever. And me and eye drops, we just do not get on. Never have done. Daryl has to literally put eye drops in for me if I have them, and it's very very rare. So it's not something I really want to happen. But if needs be, needs be. I don't have a choice. It's either that or you go blind. So, you know, I haven't noticed any eye, any loss of sight, should I say? Although there is some, I don't notice it particularly because it's on the periphery, and that's the difference. So glaucoma, you lose your sight from the periphery and it works its way in, whereas macular degeneration, which Daryl has, is it starts in the middle and works its way out. So completely, they're both eye diseases, but they're completely different things. So it's, somebody said to me, you know, I was at work and I was mentioning it to someone, and they said, does it depress you? Does it get you down? I was like, well, yeah, no, actually, there are other things that get me down more. So this actually, funnily enough, doesn't. It might do tomorrow after I've seen the specialist, but otherwise not. I have too many things on my mind on a daily basis, really, to even think about that. The important thing is I can see, and that's all that matters, really. I've also got my ultrasound and X-ray next week to find out what's going on with my chest, because that's still there. I've got pinpoint pain in my chest, so that's, if you press it, it's quite painful. I use AI, you know, ChatGPT and Copilot to the max, putting in my symptoms, and they've been sort of, I suppose, guiding me. It's really bizarre speaking to an AI bot, but they've kind of been saying, you know, it sounds musculoskeletal, and yeah, I've damaged something. I can remember I was lifting something and I whacked the side of the breast area, and my God, it was painful. I thought nothing of it, nothing really come of it. And then there was that morning I woke up and a real zappy nipple. I couldn't wear any clothes or anything. I had to put a plaster on, and I could then finally put a top on, but otherwise not. It was madness. And this has been going on for nearly 4 months. So quite a long time. But according to Chat, it can take quite a few months for any nerve damage to heal, because I obviously whacked it that hard that there was some nerve damage, you know, there. So I'm going to get that done, find out what's going on, and yeah, go from there. Weight loss. So I've been eating healthy. I always eat healthy anyway, to be fair, but I've been purposely eating healthy just to get fit for the holiday in Japan, which I'm hoping to go on. With world geopolitics the way it is, who knows what's going to happen, really. But I'm trying to get, you know, in relatively good shape to go on that holiday, and because there's going to be a lot of walking involved. Daryl's got like a stepper where you walk on it, so I'm doing that when I'm not walking, because I do walk every single day. So if I'm not walking, if I'm not at work, I will use the stepper. And the reason is it's a little bit hot outside at the moment to go walking in this kind of weather, and it is quite warm, to say the least. I think yesterday was 40. I think today's going to be about, what, 38. And don't forget, we're inland Australia as well, so we're not on the coast. So for us, it's even hotter. So it has been peachy weather, as they call it. Although I work in air conditioning, so I don't really see it that much. But I know when I left work last night and walked outside, it was just sort of this whoosh of hot wind blowing my face. So the odd thing is, Perth is quite a windy city, so you do get a lot of wind about in the winter and in the summer, and it's a warm wind. At the height of the day, it would be absolutely awful, but actually leaving work, coming from that freezing cold air conditioning outside, it was actually quite lovely. And I hate air conditioning with passion. I get cold, so I'm literally at work and I wear a hoodie because I'm that bloody freezing cold. And everyone else at work looks at me just thinking, really? You really need that? And yeah, I do. I think, is it because I'm getting older? Do old people need more layers? You know, I think possibly. I don't know. Maybe my circulation's not very good. Who knows? But I do feel the cold. Really feel the cold. So yeah, and I know Daryl's got his aches and pains as well. So he's got his varicose veins that he has to look after, and so yeah, we both got all these old man problems coming up, really, which is expected. When you get to, I'm 55 in a couple of months, so when you get to that sort of age, you expect this kind of thing. To be honest, yeah, I know, not good. I just wanted to mention briefly about this Iran war as well, because I have, and it is kind of related to what I'm talking about, because as listeners to my vlogs and readers on my blogs know, I do suffer with health anxiety. But I suffer with anxiety at all levels. So when a war breaks out in the Middle East, my anxiety should spike, in effect. But actually, it hasn't. And I think possibly because I've got my own issues that I'm dealing with, I'm not actually, I probably should be, but I'm not actually that concerned about war in the Middle East. Again, this is something I cannot control. This is gonna happen no matter what. Donald Trump is going to war whether I like it or not. I have no compassion for the Iranian hierarchy whatsoever. They are a vile, evil regime. Awful. And publicly hanging gays, stoning women, hanging women for getting raped. It's abhorrent. And so there's no love lost between me and the Iranian regime, really. My fear, and this is where the anxiety kind of kicks in, is will it go any further? Will Russia get involved? Will China get involved? North Korea? And that's when things spiral out of control, and that's when you've got to be mindful of World War III, really. So World War III, when I was a child, always on my mind. I was always scared that the world was going to end. But then again, in the 1980s, I remember we had, we had these leaflets at the door about what to do in the event of a nuclear attack. And look back now, it was ridiculous, because none of those things were going to save my life at all. But that kind of heightened my anxiety a little bit. I think possibly, the book I've written as well explains this, that the times I was living through, whether it was through the HIV/AIDS crisis or the threat of nuclear Armageddon, coming out as gay, all of these different things has really played havoc with my anxiety. And this is probably why I'm the anxious, anxiety-ridden person I am today. Really is. And that is quite sad, really, because had I grown up, I think before, I wouldn't be so bad. And I think my anxiety, my health anxiety now, has sort of taken over my life in many respects. And that's a scary thing, because in Australia, I don't really have any other anxieties. I don't have any money anxieties, or, not having enough cash to pay the mortgage or the bills, etc., etc. So I have to have something to worry about. My body gravitated towards my health, which really could be better. And had I led a more, active, positive, healthy building life beforehand, maybe I wouldn't be so anxious today. But I did things I shouldn't have done. I drank, I smoked to excess. So I did all those things when I was younger, and I think my mind now thinks you're going to start paying for this soon. And to be fair, I am starting to pay for it, and I'm well aware of that, which is why I now try and keep as healthy as I can. I've lost a lot of weight, yes, and I'm not gaunt. And people do keep saying to me, "Oh my God, you're looking so thin." But all right, I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm maintaining that weight, and you know, I'm still eating healthy. I'm still very active, and I'm doing all the things I should be doing. I'm not ill in that sense, so you know, don't worry about that. Yeah, I'm healthy on some levels, but unhealthy on others. I need to be a lot healthier. I'm starting to do stretches. I'm starting to do the back roll thing every morning just to get my back into gear, because in the mornings my back is absolutely awful, really awful. And that, I guess, is just part of getting old. I do have mild thoracic spine, I think, thoracic disc degeneration, or the beginnings of. So that might possibly have some sort of, what am I trying to say? It might have some bearing, that's the word, on my chest pain, maybe, because they're all linked. And you know, there's lots of nerve endings, you know, from that area that goes all the way around up to your nipple and all the rest of it. So that might have some bearing on it. I don't know. I really don't. I think for me, as soon as one health issue goes away, another one just pops up, rears its ugly head, you know. And so far they've all been fine, but there's going to be that day where they're not going to be. And then I'm going to be, you know, a blubbering wreck, in effect. So yeah, the war in the Middle East isn't really rating for me at the moment. I know it should. I think, can countries go around bombing other countries like that? Isn't that just law of the jungle? You know, to me, that's wrong. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You tell me. I understand how evil that regime is. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still not sure we should be doing that. In all honesty, you know, I'm a pacifist at heart, and we need to talk as people. We don't need to be bombing the shit out of one another. We really don't. And the Iranian people do not deserve that. And you know, the leadership may well deserve it, and I don't care a jot about any of them. They can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, is it America's place to do that? I don't know. I really don't know. It's not something I can comment on too much, I guess. So yeah, this week is really just, I suppose, a health update, and apart from that, I'm okay. I've got to get some moles checked again soon. This is quite a strange thing, not strange, but you get your moles checked every year here because they can change that rapidly. I don't go out in the sun too much, and I work inside, so that's not too much of a problem for me. But I do need to keep on check a bit. I do need to keep it in my mind as well. I've got reminders everywhere telling me to get your moles checked, get this done, get that done. You know, it's my health is my number one priority. Yes, I'm paying for it, and it does cost me a lot of money, but you know, it's the only thing I have, really. It's the most important thing for me, and you need to look after your health for sure. So that's it. That's it for this week. I've been blabbering on for 18 minutes, and that's probably enough. So always good to talk to you, and I'll speak to you again next week. Ciao.